On this episode of The Journal, we go to a unique party with a unique dress code and meet twin sisters whose bodies forget how to breathe when they sleep.
Then we take a tour of Tanya's place, where people of all abilities get a chance to shine. And still ahead, get your duct tape and cardboard ready, because Medieval Day is right around the corner.
Stay tuned, because all that and more is coming up on The Journal.
Why are we doing
Guys, what's going on? Hey, buds, what's up? Hey, what's going on? Hey, guys. Guys, what's going on?
Welcome to The Journal. I'm your host, Melissa Mucio.
And I'm Candace Daniel. The act of breathing is the most fundamental process of life, and for most people, it's automatic, an impulse our bodies take on for us.
But for twin sisters, Lauren and Shannon, the urge to breathe doesn't come naturally. It's a rare but serious problem faced by a handful of people across Canada. The story, produced by Matt Kollee, sheds some light on the little-known condition of Ondine's curse.
This is Lauren Kollee, a 23-year-old teacher living in Elora, Ontario. Lauren was born with a rare disease. When she sleeps at night, she forgets to breathe.
For me, it's really just I can stop breathing when I'm sleeping or if I'm really sick. And during those times at night when I'm going to bed, I have to be extra careful. I don't really do what your normal person would do. I have to make sure that I have my pacemaker on and things like that, and just take extra precautions.
Ondine's curse. A respiratory disorder where a person afflicted classically suffers from respiratory arrest during sleep. Lauren was diagnosed after she was born with Ondine's curse, a rare disease that affects 1 in 200,000 people. Lauren has a twin sister.
With having CCHS, it can sometimes bring down your self-esteem or self-confidence because you don't want to tell other people about it because you're afraid of what other people might think. But then you just come to accept it and you start to realize that what other people think isn't all that important.
Life with Ondine's curse is not easy. Lauren and Shannon fought hard growing up to get where they are today, as did Karen and Art Kollee.
During the pregnancy with Lauren and Shannon, of course, there's many of your friends that are expecting at the same time or around the same time. So when people have healthy babies or babies that come home from hospital in a regular way, they have a very difficult time coping with friends who don't have that same experience. So sometimes friendships are lost through that just because nobody knows what to say.
When we first learned of the diagnosis, and it wasn't handled very well at all, a doctor at Kingston General told us in an elevator that this was the outcome, that it was Ondine's curse, that they would never leave in an institution, that they could probably get an education, but they would never leave an institution. And the first reaction to that was totally overwhelmed, and it was surreal. It was like you were watching a horror story on a movie, and it couldn't be happening. And then once you evolved through that and got to the acceptance stage, I think there was tremendous determination to say, screw that, those girls are coming home, and we're going to do the best for them that we can.
Having a sister, a twin sister who is your best friend has really been a great, probably the best support possible, other than having parents that, are willing to be there with you, when you're sick and take you to the doctor's appointments and stuff. But having a sister beside you, in the hospital bed beside you, and, being able to play together when other kids didn't play with you, yeah, that has been awesome. It wasn't really we had nothing to do, or we both knew we couldn't do something, so we went and did something else together. So that's kind of cool.
Shannon and Lauren aren't the only twins living in the Kollee household. A delightful pair was added to the family.
Winnie and Winter are service dogs that Lauren and Shannon were very keen to have to help them build independence. The machines, the life support machines that they were on, did not have internal batteries or alarms in some of the machines that we had. So the dogs were required to be trained, to be sensitive to their breathing patterns, when in place of some of the alarms that were and were not there on the machinery. So they started as service dogs. As Lauren and Shannon's technology changed from a very large machine to the diaphragm pacers, the dogs were not required as much to be working dogs, so they're now family pets.
As a family, they have lived as much of a normal life as possible. But how did it make it through such rough times?
I think that when you raise children, generally speaking, it doesn't matter what the difficulty is. You need a very strong marriage to make it work. It's very, very difficult on a marriage, but if both of you are taking the time to listen to each other and the stresses of each other's lives, I think almost anything can work.
Mel, that was such an eye-opening story. Thanks again to producer Matt Kollee and his family for sharing their story with us.
And there's still so much more to go. If you're an art fan, then you'll love this next piece by Roberto Dicosta. It tells the story of how a young man cultivated his talent with the pen. Let's take a look.
Okay, I'm Walid Ismail. I am an artist/photographer. I'm finishing up work for a gallery, which includes photography, illustration, and design. As early as I can remember, I was drawing. My mother drew, my two brothers drew, and it just came. After grade 6, I was at middle school, I was like 7 and 8, and I didn't really draw anymore. Like, I just stopped, and as usual, you're growing up and you see girls and you get more into that, so you start leaving that behind. And after I graduated high school, I joined Arts and Design Foundation, which takes bits and pieces of like fine arts, design, and other artistic elements, and I found my love for illustration and art once again.
My name is David McClyman, and I'm the head of the Fine Arts program here. As well as teaching in fine arts, I teach in foundation, and I teach students how to present themselves to the professional world, and Mo is one of my early star students.
I sucked as I didn't practice for so long, and I started to see like other students that came in and then they're like way light years ahead of you, and like I would say fuck and all this other shit and say I gotta get my act together.
He's always been his own worst critic, or harshest critic, I should say, not worst critic. And I think that's a really healthy attitude for any artist to have, because you need to be not destructive, but you need to be very critical of what you're doing so that you keep your standards going up and up and up. And Walid's always been like that. His work has grown considerably since he first walked in the doors here at Centennial College 3 years ago.
I got invited to shoot a night, some lingerie runway thing, and all these photographers had like $2,000 cameras on, like one here and one here and one here, like 3 or 2 on each. So I was the only one with a shitty camera. So these guys took all the best sides, so I said, fuck this shit. I'm not gonna go to the front of the line where the models come out. I would go behind the stage and let them walk ahead of me. So I would sit there, take my pictures black and white, no flash, no nothing. And when the lady that invited me to come saw the images, she said the rest of the images of the professional guys' stuff was garbage, which I was shocked. These guys do this for a living. they have the money to pay for those. So I was actually shocked that they took my images and put it on the site, which even gave me more motivation to continue on and use my eye and my emotion, all that stuff to take the pictures. Well, the gallery's at Dundas and Carlisle in April, and it's going to be crazy.
It's completely satisfying, and I don't mean to sound self-servingly, but as a teacher, that's what I live for, you know, is to see somebody like Molid go through the assignments, get them, but truly get them, and then take that information and say, okay, that's what they asked me to do. This is what I want to do.
You know, Candace, it's so inspiring to see the talent that comes out of our campus.
Absolutely. We're so lucky to be in such a creative environment.
Stick around. We've got more of the journal after the break.
Life moves fast, and the last thing you want are regrets, so I enrolled here at the center. And let me tell you, I received more than just classes for my cash. Now, I have real experience to add to my resume. Take this commercial, for instance. Just one of many projects we all got to work on. See? We're working right now. The Center for Creative Communications at Centennial College is all about coming together to get ahead. All you have to do is have passion and live it. So that's my story. What's yours?
Welcome back to the journal. Up next, we have a poignant piece by Anthony Serio.
That's right, Melissa. We go to Tanya's Place, a haven of sorts for young adults who are developmentally delayed. Let's take a look.
I'm Francie Tchaikovsky, and I'm the founder and executive director of Tanya's Place, which is an activity center for teens and adults with special needs. Tanya's Place is an activity center and a /day program. What happens is our clients are able to stay in the education system legally till they're 21. If they're not employable or can't go to post-secondary school, where do they go? So that was the situation we were in with our daughter, Tanya, hence Tanya's Place.
Hi, I'm Tanya.
My daughter is 27, and she's developmentally delayed, or global delayed. And when she was 18, we started looking around, you know, what is she going to do when she finishes school? Because we have to work, and I didn't want her stuck in front of a TV all day. We opened up our doors the July 5th, 2004, with 10 clients and 2 staff. We are now up to 2 facilities with a total of 50 clients and 7 staff.
All right, well, my name is Jesse. I'm Tanya's brother. I am Francie's son, the owner of Tanya's Place. I've worked here for 7 years now, since I was 16, so a lot of clients are around the same age as me, so I've kind of like grown up with them. I'm also not just Tanya's brother, but I guess some of them see me as their brother too.
Basically, our programs have to fall into 3 separate categories: mind, body, and soul. With the mind, it's obviously the life skills. So we have a literacy program, money management, you know, like identifying currency, that type of thing, and some reading. Obviously, the skills are wide in terms of level of understanding. So we customize all our programs to the skill level of our clients. The body is obviously taking care of the temple and that type of thing. We're huge onto fitness here. We do 3 fitness, full-out fitness classes here a week.
People are afraid of what they don't know about or what's different, right? So if they don't know about them, or they don't know what they're capable of, or not what their disadvantages are, but what their advantages are.
To be or not to be. And that is the question. Whether this nobler of mine to suffer.
We're all the same, really, but we just do things a little differently. You know, I mean, but I would prefer to live their life, because I call them my snowflakes. They're all different. There isn't one person out there that has special needs that's the same and makes them unique. We are very proud, but we need a little more help. So like when we hear government basing their whatever, this is the federal platform on, oh, we're going to provide families with child care. what about us? Because when you think of it, what we do here, it's daycare. These parents have to work, but they're adults, and nobody's recognizing that. And so basically, ignorance breeds fear. So if we get past that fear, what a wonderful place it would be. Wouldn't it be great if we were all like these guys? They don't know how to be jealous. They don't care about money. They don't have any concept of what things cost, right? All they want to do is say, please you.
Candace, it's stories like this that show that underneath it all, we're all more alike than we are different.
That's very true, Melissa. And we've since learned that the founders of Tanya's Place are now using this short doc on their website. So kudos to Anthony Serio on a job well done.
In our next segment, we venture to Keswick to see what Medieval Day is all about. Producer Colm O'Sullivan takes us back to his hometown to celebrate this little-known holiday. Let's check it out.
I'm Travis Parks. I'm the host or one of the founding fathers of Medieval Day. It's hosted at my house in our backyard or the field behind our house. Medieval Day is a day where all of our friends get together and we battle each other. We made fake weapons out of pool noodles and pieces of wood, you could say. Wooden dowel, is a better description. Yeah, so we make those weapons and we fight against each other. It's very physical. We hurt each other. We've had quite a few injuries, I'm sure. One person in the hospital, that was pretty good.
Okay, good.
Yeah, my name is Ryan Treflin, and I am one of the founding fathers of Medieval Day. It's always been kind of treasured by us because, I mean, we can just go crazy because it's just these foam weapons, and it's not really a big deal if one of us cracks the other on the head because, it just stuns you for a bit. You shake it off, it's all good. But, yeah, that to me is Medieval Day, is get together of friends and beat the crap out of each other.
We do this because in movies and all these things, you always want to pretend a sword fight and get into battles, but you can never really do it with real weapons, so we tried to make fake weapons that were as close as we could and cheap, of course, and have fun, and just swing as hard as we can.
Generally, you take like a wooden dowel that you could buy at any hardware store and get a pool noodle. I mean, you can't really get it now, but wait summer, then you get the sales, and it'd be sick. And you get the pool noodles and you just stick them on top, and it's just a shit ton of duct tape. That's really all it is after that. And then, I mean, a lot of people have gotten fancy in the years, and they do like different kind of setups, and like it used to be just like swords and shields at one point. Like some people got creative, like we got those short axes, we got those gauntlets that are useless. But we also have things that aren't useless, like the spear. The spear was a nice addition. The reach is just ridiculous. But yeah, no. So I mean, it's been really great how everything's kind of progressed. But yeah, as far as that goes, it's just you get a doweling rod, pool noodle, and just let your imagination take over from there. And yeah, crap one duct tape.
Why do you like it?
Why do I like it?
Yeah.
It's good for all of us to hang out, really. So is magic. Medieval Day's got all aggression out, We're bombarded every day with these hyper-real images of these macho people, It appeals to that stereotypical male. This giant, hulking fighter. Plus, I like hurting people, so.
I get to kick the shit out of people. That's fun, or I die, either or. But I get.
3 naps ready?
Yeah. I get beat up on. It toughens me up. This is pretty much it. I don't know about anyone else.
We started this, I guess, in the summer of 2005. We all got together. It might have only been 5 or 6 of us max, and it was pretty good. Now we get like 8 minimum, and the best days are 14. My best time was probably when I sent one of the other co-founders to the hospital. I gave him a good dinger on the side of the head with one of the foam swords, and it just tore his skin open. It was a good swing. We won.
Well, if you didn't know about Medieval Day, now you know.
I know all about it, actually. People from all over the world partake in recreating the medieval era at various points throughout the year.
Stick around, we've got more Journal coming your way after the break.
advertising planner at BBDO, graduated from Centennial College in 2004.
I'm owner of McLaren Art Studios, and I graduated from Centennial College in 2001.
Graduated from the Joint Journalism program at Centennial College in 2008.
It's not what it looks like. I designed this game. Just learned it at the office. Graduated from Centennial College in 2009.
Look past the piece of paper. Get real-world preparation and graduate with confidence to succeed. Centennial College, giving you the palette to paint your future with color.
I'll turn and talk to this. Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned to the Journal. Our next segment deals with an issue that will affect 1 in 3 Canadian women in their lifetime.
Yes, Candace, and those scary stats are a very real part of the fight against breast cancer. Produced by Kyla Robertson, this story shares one woman's battle against the disease and gives us a first-hand look at how much strength it takes to win. Let's take a look.
She was there. No matter how sick she was, no matter how frail she was feeling, she never left her role as a mom.
My mom's so strong physically and mentally. I felt something in my breast, and I went and made an appointment with my doctor, and she looked at it and felt it, and right away she sent me for a mammogram, and then from the mammogram he sent me for biopsy, and it came out positive that I did have breast cancer. I was sitting in my room, and my sister and my mom sat me down and said she got cancer in her left breast, and I didn't really know how to take it. I didn't know what was going to happen. I remember nurses coming over constantly because my mom was in a frail condition.
Yeah, he's getting really old, and he used to be like the star of the business and everything. It was a lot harder the second time. To have to handle my mom being diagnosed again, and at the same time having to deal with this huge heavy workload, and then having to drive my mom to the hospital to her treatments, still helping her change her stitchings. It was so hard for me.
She is, but like she follows me around.
I was very afraid, only because of the girls, but at the same time, they made me strong as well, because they were still so young, so I just still wanted to be around. I just thought, I'm not going to give up. Being there all the time and being supportive, just being positive for me, and always helping out in any way they can to fight, to just try and, say I can beat this and I can do this, and I did. I turned 50 last May, and we thought, okay, let's do a girl trip all together, and with my brother-in-law's help and all my relatives and everybody, we got to go to Cuba. That was the best thing so far, having enjoyed those 7 days with my girls. I just always tell them to coming from someone who's been there and done that, just to be strong and to stay positive, because whatever happens, you can't change. You just have to deal with it the best way you can. For everybody, you would get the same thoughts that as soon as you hear the word cancer, you're going to die. But it doesn't have to be that way.
She never left the role of being a good mom.
I just try not to think about it. I'm just, I'm enjoying life, and I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm enjoying my family, all my friends, work. I love my work. So all that just makes me, stay positive, and whatever happens, happens. But I just enjoy every day.
Thanks again to Chessa Enrique and Kyla Robertson for bringing us that inspiring story. Well, you can never have too much beauty in life, and that's why we have another up-and-coming artist on the way, thanks to producer Hazel Laquindanum.
Hazel takes us into Clutch, a program that allows young Filipino women to refine their art skills and stay in touch with their heritage at the same time. Let's hear from the girls and take a look at their story.
Clutch teaches its participants and its audience that art serves everybody, regardless of ethnicity or immigration experience or class. Or I think that Clutch teaches that it's important to tell stories.
Clutch has allowed me to be more confident about my ideas and allowed me to explore my ideas and given me the opportunity to display it to others.
I'm just trying to kind of discover the limits of how much my ethnicity and culture can define me, and try to pay tribute to both, my Canadian upbringing and my Filipino upbringing.
Definitely more engaged with my culture, and I've gained a better understanding about what it means to be Filipino.
After coming out of Kapisanan and Clutch, I feel like I have something to inform my art. You know, I finally have guidance. One of the things that Clutch really brings is just that opportunity to question and to think about what the hell we're really doing, because, it matters. I think they left out the part where they teach you how to fully use your community resources and work as a team, and they teach you so many things. It's not just arts mentorship. Like you're really developing these really valuable skills that you can't get anywhere else. You have everything you need in life. You just gotta find it. You gotta excavate. Yeah!
Wow, what a great initiative taken on by the community.
And these girls are doubly lucky because they have the support of both the art and the Filipino community.
Don't change that URL, because the Journal will be back in a few after this short break.
All my life, people have been telling me where they thought I belonged. Some people thought it was here.
I don't get it.
Others thought it was here.
I don't get it.
And for some reason, others thought it was here. I belong here.
Welcome back to the Journal. Candace, I have some bad news.
Oh my gosh, what?
The show's almost over.
We were having such a great time, too. But I guess all these good things must come to an end.
I know, but we still have some time to bring the viewers a couple of absolutely fantastic stories.
Definitely, and speaking of which, it looks like you and the viewers at home are in some luck. Here's a rare chance to check out James Monteiro and his unusual lifestyle of partying in his underwear. Let's take a look at this piece from Tyler Byron.
The great thing about a black light is that it sort of allows, it's almost like being at a masquerade, you know, like you no longer are who you are. You can't really see people's faces because the lighting is so dark. You have these weird shadows, so everyone kind of takes on a different personality. So it really allows you to just forget about who you are in your everyday life and just take on a different personality that you sort of just want to be or think you should be, you know. It sort of allows you to just, you know, take away all life's inhibitions and just be free at these parties and just do whatever you want to do, you know. It's completely different now. I mean, I was getting a lot of my creative ideas from these parties, just from all the other ideas that other people were bringing and playing, and the music we were playing and the records we played. So a lot of influence, like, it was my primary source of artistic influence. Where now I don't have that. I'm looking in different ways to find my influences and what's gonna sort of inspire me to create something. You're picking up off of everyone's energy, you know, so you're taking a little bit from everyone, which is sort of helping to improvise into my songs that I'm playing at these parties, which then allows me to like think of new ideas while I'm playing my songs, and then I take these new ideas and create other songs. Blacklight under a dance party is a great, fun thing that can just happen. It's never gonna die. It's never gonna stop being what it is, you know. Like, I don't even need to be present for it to happen, you know. So the Blacklight under a dance party will always exist, you know.
Now that's what I call letting loose. He puts Andrew WK to shame. But speaking of rock stars, have you ever heard of Blake Prince?
Well, I have, but let's let our audience in on this rising star and his story.
For those of you who don't know, he's the head singer of Modern Miniatures, the hardcore band from Hamilton whose following grows with every show. So crank up your volume to 100 and check these guys out in the final story produced by Steve Putt.
Blake Prince and I sing for Modern Miniatures. I've probably been singing in a band for 10 years now, maybe. No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, 10 years actually. Jerry's Line was a band that I got asked to sing for after they asked their previous lead singer to leave. A good friend of mine, Donnie, who's the guitarist in Jerry's Line, worked at the same place I worked at, and he ended up asking me to come to a practice, and everything went really well from there. Dude, man, I've loved music since the day I was born. My dad was the bikerish type of guy and used to listen to a lot of Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith when I grew up, and I think I grew up on that as well. So I've pretty much had music in my life, my whole life, that and wrestling. I'm in a band called Modern Miniatures now, and Donnie, who is the guitarist in Straight Weasel Line, and I recently just crossed paths again, and he asked me to try out for another band that he was in, and everything went well, and now I'm back on stage with him and the old guitarist from Threat Signal and Kitchens and Bathrooms, Marco Brissett, and two other dudes from Hamilton, and it's awesome. And I hope that we can progress as musicians and do different kind of genres as we continue, you know, because we're not always going to be able to scream and play those crunchy riffs, right? But maybe we can grow up together as a band and do different things, and then, you know, grow old and do these things, and you know, maybe we'll be on 97.7 Hits FM one day. Keep at it, you know if you have it, and you know if you don't have it, and you pretty much know that after a couple shows. And if you feel like you have it, then keep going, because, and I know it sounds super cliche, but all the best things will happen if you work hard at it and you really do have a passion for it. Then don't let anybody tell you any different.
Thanks again to Steve Putt for bringing us that backstage pass to the world of Modern Miniatures. And hey, if you're in London, Ontario on Friday, May 27th, Modern Miniatures will be performing at Call the Office on 216 York Street. Well, guys, that's all the time we have for today on The Journal. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we did hosting it.
And don't forget to check us out next Thursday and Friday, where you'll get another fix of super cool stories from the coolest school tellers in school. On behalf of the producers and the crew, we would like to wish you a safe and sound evening. I'm Melissa Mucio.
And I'm Candace Daniel. Thanks again for tuning in, and good night.